Hello and welcome to the channel. In today's video we are checking out the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Batman The Ultimate Movie Collection 6-pack. These started to ship out over the past few weeks here in the Americas, because overseas they were arriving earlier. So mine arrived sometime last week as of this recording. I just haven't had a chance to do the video on this. But I got mine from Big Bad Toy Store, and something curious that happened um, within the last week or so is that the price on this thing went up. For those who put in their pre-orders when it released, was it? Yeah, the week of Comic-Con, so late July. The price on this thing was $120. But as of the last week or so, the price on this thing went up to 150 something, I believe, 150, 155 or something like that. So that's just something to take note of if you're planning on getting this in the future. If you didn't jump on the earlier pre-orders, just saying, you could have gotten it for a few bucks cheaper. And this is a big package. I have a tape measure here. I actually wanted to show this because I don't think many people have shown the actual size of this thing. Just to get you an idea of this is my normal setup, which I put when I record all my videos, and I couldn't fit it in one shot, so this is what I'm gonna have to make do for right now. But yeah, this thing is a pretty large package. It is, let's see, exactly 12 feet. I guess if you want to see, it's exactly 12 feet across, 1 foot, and it is, let's see, about 18 3/4 inches tall. So yeah, it's a pretty big boy. And imagine it's gonna be bigger depending on how you display it. If you open it up, just double the size wide, right? So if you have like a 2.5, 3 foot wide space, when you open this, it's gonna fit in perfectly. And speaking of which, so yeah, I already opened and inspected the package and everything. So I've removed all of the figures from their list, from their, the packaging and all of that to inspect them, but they're still inside the box right now. So we're not gonna have like an official unboxing and all of that, because I don't like it. So we're just gonna have a look at the packaging on the outside, on the inside, how the figures are. If you've already seen a few reviews of these, you already know what's the deal. I just want to show some certain things. What we are going to talk about in this video isn't necessarily gonna go over each action figure in detail. This is from the side. This is held in place with some round Velcro strips. So that's on the side. All of this is cool. This is actually this part right here, celebrating every story, something. Yeah, this is raised. And then in the back we have a very cool image of a backdrop of Gotham City. and then the included trading cards that come for each representation of the cinematic Batman. Many people were saying why wasn't the Adam West Batman included. They did release a movie of the '66 Batman. Um, Basically, I mean, McFarlane has already been releasing the '66 line, so I don't know what else he could have done except for, well, I guess introduce him into the multiverse line and give him the additional articulation and all of that. But I don't think. I think obviously what most people are thinking of is the modern age movies, right? So starting with the '89 Batman from Michael Keaton, followed by the Val Kilmer, as represented here in Batman Forever. Then we have the George Clooney from Batman and Robin. We have the Christian Bale from the Nolan trilogy, the Ben Affleck Batman, and finally the Pattinson Batman, right? So all of these, obviously there are 3 new figures and 3 um, repacks, you could say. So the Keaton, well, I guess you can say the Burtonverse Batman are the newer figures. The Keaton was released also recently with the Batmobile, which I couldn't score. That was the first attempt at trying to get the Michael Keaton Batman, the '89 Michael Keaton Batman, because we did have the version from the Flash movie release recently. That one I did get, and then but the we had the 2-pack with the Batmobile that I couldn't score, so in some way this counts as a new figure because it's still mostly an exclusive figure, which I'm pretty sure in the future might get a single release down the line. So yeah, these 3 figures are the newer figures. These 3 are the recycled, reused figures on the set. Oh yeah, and I was gonna say the backdrop is pretty cool. I may actually, maybe scan it and have it printed out even larger to use as a or like an official backdrop for when I do my reviews for like future Batman figures, which will probably be plenty of more to come. As long as McFarlane doesn't lose the license, we know he'll never stop making Batman figures. So I'm just going to pause for 1 second, and then I'm going to open up the packaging and see how the figures are set up on the inside. All right, so sorry about the glare, but let me see if I can maybe close this. I guess that's better, right? All right, that's kind of better. Okay, so here we have all of the figures in the set and everything else included, which is the bat signal, the different available bat signals for the different incarnations, and the trading cards. So you'll notice there's only 1, 2, 3, 4 bat signal faces or plates, you could say, that are interchangeable with the bat signal itself. Of course, like I said earlier, the Keaton, the Kilmer, and Clooney, since they're all part of the same universe, the Tim Burton universe, they all share the same bat signal, right? Bale has his own, Affleck has his own, and Pattinson has his own bat signal. So, but these 3 share the same one. So so as I was saying earlier of regarding reuse of the figures and all of that. So the Bale, the Affleck, and the Pattinson were all previously released. Of these figures, I only was able to get the Affleck, although the Affleck that was released was the one that had the goggles, either the one with the goggles down, goggles up, or the exposed or sans cowl, right? However you want to say it, the one with the Ben Affleck face. So, but I got the version with the goggles down, which was my preferred version. I wasn't really interested in the Pattinson when it was released, and the Bale I never saw in stores. So, and he's been sold out basically everywhere online. So this is the first time I own the Bale, and of course these three guys are the new figures. Uh, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna quickly go over each one individually, and talk about what I'm planning on doing with each one, because I do plan on customizing these more, a few more than others in terms of what I'm thinking of doing. Some may have some super drastic changes, others just minor changes like touch up, minor paint touch ups and all of that. So yeah, so the way these come in is, so these guys each have their own individual like blister packaging, while these two over here share the same one. So when you receive the package initially, these are taped up to the background, to the backing box. So I've already removed the tape, so you can release it. These are held on to these. These are taped to the back on these two tabs here. So you pull on this. When you pull out, when you pull this out, it's gonna pull out this background with it, which is where these are then taped from the back, right? So when you're trying to pull out these figures, they do come in protected with those plastic ties, so you have to snip those to release the figure. So like I said previously, I've already opened and inspected everything, so the figures have already been released. The cape does come. The capes come in tucked in over the blister plastic over the back, but when I put them back in, I just didn't bother, because again, most of these capes are gonna get replaced, so it doesn't matter if they get tethered or ripped or whatever. But in general, just something that I wanted to mention, right? So what I'm gonna do then is gonna rearrange this setup. We're gonna look at each one of these individually, really quick, and hopefully the video doesn't extend too long. Although that has never been a problem with me, right, in my videos. All right, so pausing for just one moment. All right, so we're going to start off basically in chronological order. So we're starting off here with the 1989 Keaton Batman. So like I said, I've already removed the blister packaging from the big box, and that's pretty much, this is how it looks, right? So if it gets a little bendy and whatnot, don't get too upset. This is just flimsy plastic. So, but I do like this, how each one of these has their own individual plate. It's a thin cardboard that's just glued. Yeah, that's glued in at the bottom. And let's just take the figure out. Put this away. I haven't really even tried to pose him or anything, so I don't know if we're gonna have any issues with this figure standing up or anything. Okay. So here we have the Michael Keaton Batman. So like I said, I don't have the version that was released with the Batmobile, so I can't compare if there were any improvements, changes, or you know any update from either figure. From what I believe and what I've seen is that the release with the with the Batmobile, the only difference is this guy has a gold belt, and I believe the logo, the emblem on his chest was also gold instead of yellow. I could be wrong, but I believe that's what I've seen. Um, so yeah, the of course the big I don't know drawback is the right word, but I guess the main complaint from many people about this release of the 89 Batman is, of course, that they actually gave him neck articulation. Famously, this Batman could not move his head. He basically had to shift his entire body to see or what's going on around him. So McFarlane instead decided to give him neck articulation, uh, even though he has employed the one piece neck and head system before, of course, with I have him right here with the Hush Batman, or this body type, which I believe was originally released on the Three Jokers. So this is all one piece, right? And I think many of us were expecting something similar for this guy. Instead, we got him with full neck articulation, except here at the base. All of this is still one molded piece. You can only move him at the head. So I'm torn because it looks weird because you're accustomed to to how you're accustomed to how the normal 89 Batman is molded with no head articulation. That being said, I think the thing that looks weird is that he has the neck the width of the neck is not as wide as the cowl. That is what's throwing off the figure. If the neck was as wide as the cowl to make it seem like it's one piece, even though they gave him the hair articulation, I don't think people would have complained as much. But because the neck is a little less even with the head sculpt, then it throws the look from the overall. Uh, your mind is immediately looking at it and like there's something weird. Even though probably if this guy well, I was gonna say even though we could probably in a modern setting this figure would actually have the head articulation much like the Bale Batman, but again we do have the most recent release of the from the Flash, right? And even though he also didn't have neck articulation in the movie, you can see here he does have the wider neck, which doesn't throw off the look too much. So if they would have done something similar on this guy, I don't think people would have complained as much, or would be complaining as much, I should say. Uh, but other than that, I mean, the suit looks cool. All of the details are there. I'll bring in the only other, like major release of the 89 Batman that I have, which is the SH Figure Arts. So we'll compare them in a little bit. My major issue. Well, speaking of, okay, so am I happy with this? Mm, Not 100%, but I'm also not too mad about it. So if there's a way that I can fix it, or maybe somebody releases like a third party neck replaceable neck piece, I'll probably get it. But let's see. My main complaint is the cape. Um, this cape, this version of Batman, the Keaton cape, went all the way up to the front and would actually drape like this, basically, all the way from the front, leaving the bat symbol, exposed like this, but the rest of his body covered up, right? Uh, so my main complaint is this: if the cape went all the way up to the front, I probably wouldn't even change the cape that McFarlane gave us. But since it only goes up to his shoulders, I'm gonna have to. Even if you pull on it, it still doesn't look right because you're stretching the material and you get these little loopy things, so it doesn't look right. So that's one of the things that I'm gonna do with this guy. The other thing is, of course, just add a little a top coat of clear, matte clear, just to get the entire rubber suit look down, because there's minimal shine. It is a matte finish on the figure. It's not as shiny as like this guy, right? If we compare. If you remember when I reviewed this guy, I have two. One of them I gave him the matte finish, and you can clearly see a big stark difference, that it almost looks like rubber. So that's what I'm planning on doing on this guy. Other than the cape, it's just giving an overall coat of matte finish. And the belt. So the belt here is gold. Um, I'm probably going to paint that yellow, and like that yellow mustard color that the figure. I'm sorry, that in like in the movie, like the official costume, right? So that's another thing that I'm going to change along with the bat symbol. Now the other thing that with the bat symbol that people are pointing out is that the oval, these raised edges should also be painted in black, but clearly they're not painted here. I was lucky not to get mine. The paint application on the bat itself isn't too bad. It's actually pretty good. I've seen some people with some gnarly painting, so I was lucky to get one that was pretty well painted. And some people are also mentioning, famous, he couldn't turn and all of that. So people are like, oh, why didn't they give him all of this as one piece? I guess what they could have done is done this like a rubber overlay, like McFarlane was doing with a few figures. I don't have one here close to me to show you, but McFarlane has done rubber overlays in the past. Um, you know, so as for this being one whole piece, and then on the inside it's almost like a hollow. So you can still do the crunching, but all of this is being all one single piece. And I don't mind it. I prefer this as being molded plastic, and you can move the figure around. Just you can't bend them. Just don't bend them too bad, and you won't see the gap, right? But basically, all of the typical McFarlane joints here, I'm just gonna test them out for you guys to see. So very crunchy on the elbows. The arms swivel pretty nicely, nothing too loose. We already checked the waist and the upper diaphragm here, all good. The legs, he can raise them pretty much like almost 90 degrees. Very crunchy knees. This one is actually extra harder than this one. No, actually they're the same. And the boots, very clicky as well. You can see he has his Nikes, although they're not branded Nike. But these are, well, I know these were trainers when the movie released. That's just on Flash. That's not part of the actual. That's not part of the. There we go. They were trainers. I'm not sure if they were the Bo Jacksons or they were just general trainers. I forget. The Batman Returns one famously wore Air Jordan 6s. So we'll see if McFarlane releases the Batman Returns line down the future. But yeah, overall, I'm very happy with this guy. Aside from the issue with the cape, my personal issue with the cape, the neck doesn't really bother me. Oh, I guess we can look at the head sculpt and see. I actually do think he kind of looks like Michael Keaton. Let's see if it focuses. I've seen other reviews, and I guess it looks these are deceiving. When I was looking at other reviews, I was like, I don't know if he looks like him, but he actually kind of does. The paint applications are very well done here on the face and the exposed mouth area and all of that. Oh, I guess the other thing I can point out is that the ears aren't too pointy, so we can do something about that. And let's see. Let me go get that SH Figuarts for comparison here. So, considerable size difference. So this is what I was saying regarding the cape. Look how the cape comes all the way up and behind the bat symbol all the way to the front, and how it drapes normally. If we compare the head sculpts here, focuses. There we go. You can make up your decision and say, well, one looks more like the other. Well, one does look better than the other. That's up to you. The cowl itself is kind of molded the same. I mean, it has the same features, except, like I said, the ears on this one aren't as pointy like this one. Although some people complain this cowl wasn't even accurate. I guess one of the most immediate solutions that you can have for this guy is if you can find yourself on eBay one of the heads from the Mezco release, you can remove this and plop that one on top, and there you go. Which is probably something that I might go for. But again, most of these features are pretty accurate. Right? So, one thing you'll notice, this guy has a glossy armor parts, as opposed to this guy that is all completely matte. So that's one of the more prominent differences. But there you go. So all in all, I will probably rate this guy. Let's say an 8. I'll give him an 8. Again, the neck thing, if the neck was just as equally as wide as the head sculpt, it would be less of an issue. And then the cape thing that doesn't go all the way up to the front, for me that's a big deal. So that's that. So I'll score this guy an 8. So I'm gonna pause, and then we're gonna look at the next figure.